Ladies and gentlemen, Ariane Cap here in Fala Baixista. Thank you.
I want to say my português.
Oh.
E minha alegria e honor estar aqui. Esta
noite.
Ah! I practice hard.
Yeah. Thank you for coming here.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to receive you. And talk about your actual projects, your works.
Yeah. I've been extremely busy this year. It's just been an absolute whirlwind from lots of travel, I do lots of clinics, I do a lot of seminars. I was just at London Base Day. I was in Germany at the Marlow Base Camp earlier this year. I was just in Florida recording for True Fire. So it's been truly busy. I do a lot of online seminars. I recently moved to Los Angeles, but I still do a lot of gigs where I used to live, which is San Francisco. So I'm constantly going back and forth between Los Angeles and San Francisco. And it's just been very, very busy. In sometime around June, I won a readers poll. I was one of 4 winners of the Bass Player magazine and ended up on the cover today together with 3 other winners. And it's just been really busy since then. So playing, performing, teaching, and yeah.
You living in San Francisco?
I used to. I moved about 2 years ago to Los Angeles. Yeah, and the jury is still out whether we'll stay there. But right now, that's where we are.
It's a beautiful place.
It is. We love California. My husband Wolfgang and me, and we love California. He wants to be closer to the recording industry because he's a composer, and I love the Bay Area a lot. So I really miss it. So we'll see where we end up. Yeah. But it's a quick 1-hour flight, so it's not too bad.
Share with us about experience story with electric bass?
With the
Your
electric bass,
beginning?
how I got started. It's kind of an unusual story. I grew up listening almost exclusively to classical music, and I studied piano from when I was very little, and I always had a really good ear for music, and I was always interested in improvisation. You know, I always wanted to play the notes that were not on the paper, but that was a no-no. You weren't supposed to do that. So when I found the bass guitar, which was in my early 20s, there was an instrument where I could, because I had theory and technique training from such an early age, you know, I had a really solid foundation. It was interesting, but I picked it up and it felt so natural, but I had no idea what notes I was playing. So guitar player went poke here, poke here, poke
technique.
here. And it's like 2 weeks later, I was playing my first gig because it
2
was...
weeks?
Yeah, well, we had to. We had...
You're crazy!
Maybe it wasn't 2 weeks, but it felt like 2 weeks. I had literally just started, and we had just said we had played in a band, and we had our bass player wasn't available, so we were looking for a replacement and couldn't find somebody. And I was in the band, I was playing keyboard and guitar and singing and all that. And then somebody suggested, the drummer, I think he suggested, why don't you try a bass? You know, you play guitar anyway, how hard can it be? You know, but that's a good place to start because you don't have any burden, you know. So I was just, okay, I'll try it, you know, sure. And picked up this red little Ibanez, you know, sound gear. And I just loved it. And there was so much freedom because the way in wasn't through the notes. The way in was, you know, poke here, you know, that's what the guitar player said, you know. Yeah. And we were mostly doing ZZ Top at the time, you know, and blues rock and that sort of thing. And it was a wonderful, freeing experience. And I just loved it, you know. And because I had a very strong theory and technique, you know, foundation, I think it was very easy for me to pick it up. But I just loved it. Piano, yeah, it really helped. Just the control of the fingers, you know, the feel, the control. And also, I had very rigid training.
Harmony,
theory, all of that. And I had very rigid training, you know, where you were supposed, I remember in piano class, it was like torture. They put a piece of paper around my neck and I was not allowed to see the keys because they want you to feel the notes, you know. So you had to sit there. You weren't allowed to move. You had to just read. Don't play any notes that aren't on the paper, you know. So it was very strict, very regulated, you know, regimented. But it was an important experience because I understood, going back, why they did it, you know? So I know there's value in learning like this, but you also have to cultivate the freedom and learning your own voice and the enjoyment and the fun, you know? That's like why when I teach, I like to bring in improvisation very early. You know, I'm very big on, you know, good foundation, good technique, you know, good theory foundation, knowing the notes, knowing the fretboard, all that. But it's really important to me that people get to explore their own musicality, you know, who they are. Because you can do that even with little kids, you know. You teach them, you know, make rain on the piano, make a thunderstorm on the piano. Little kids know exactly what to do, you know. Or it's a train that goes up the mountain, you know, now it goes down the mountain, you know. So you teach them. I mean, it's a very playful approach. But I think if we are, even as adults, able to access that playfulness, you know, that's a good thing.
In the bass is more feeling, more popular.
Oh, and what I loved.
One or two notes, you play music.
Yes, yeah. And just being the foundation, you know, being the groove. And piano, you have the left hand, so it has a little bit of
the
that
military
function.
training.
Yeah, but the left hand of the piano is the bass, you know, in the music.
Yeah.
So, you know, to sort of take that idea and put it on the instrument.
Yeah.
Was interesting to me.
Talk about your project On.
Oh, yeah.
With amazing Paul Hanson.
Paul Hanson is an incredible
amazing
musician, yeah.
How did you build the bass arrangements? What was the creative concept?
Okay, so Paul Hanson is an electric bassoonist. And, you know, bassoon is a double reed instrument and very, very hard to play. And so usually it's played in the orchestra, you know. But Paul is also a saxophone player. So he knows how to shred on bebop and, you know, he knows the vocabulary, he knows the sounds, you know. And he just had this vision. He wanted to play this kind of music, improvisational music, with the bassoon. And one of his biggest idols is Jimi Hendrix, you know, so he started experimenting with effects and such. And he's just such an incredible out-of-the-box thinker. So I was always a huge fan of his playing and his approach, you know. And him and I started playing together in 2012. And the idea was, you know, I was playing a lot on the sixth string, and I had like Michael Manring, Steve Lawson, you know, those guys are such huge influences on my playing, you know. And just this, I had some solo pieces that I was, you know, I kept them in the closet. I didn't want anybody to hear them because you can't play six string in a band. That's like bad. You have to play four string, five string, maybe, but don't play six string. You know? So I was afraid to. But with Paul, we were just experimenting, and we loved the sound. You know, there was just a synergy there. And since he was asking how we started creating together, he brought in a few charts with piano parts. And I just thought, how can I, you know, how many of these parts can I possibly play on the bass? Yeah. So it got really interesting for me figuring out how to play all the notes technique. And bringing in tapping, exactly, and diverse chord playing and pedals and effects. And that's how many songs started. You know, he brings in a chart. He has also written parts for me because he plays guitar, so he can figure out what's possible, you know. And but then some songs, you know, I would just start something, and he would come up with a melody. And, you know, it's just varied. Sometimes I bring a song, sometimes he brings a song. Yeah. But it's so much fun to play with him. His instrument has a huge range, you know, and me with my six string, I have a pretty wide range too, and I get to explore the high end and I get to explore the low end, and it's really fun.
I see
very
video,
freeing, you know.
On YouTube. Oh yeah, amazing project.
Thank you.
Beautiful. So hard to play.
Yes, it is a challenge, but it's a wonderful challenge, you know. I wanted to bring Paul to Brazil. But it's Thanksgiving. Yesterday was Thanksgiving. I was trying. He couldn't make it this time, but maybe next time we can bring him along. He has been so much on tour, you know. He has been touring with Billy Cobham, and so he was away from his family a lot. And because it was Thanksgiving, he said, I can't do it, which I understand. But he's an incredible musician, and hopefully we'll be here together with him.
I hope.
Yes. Oh, can I tell you how our band name happened? Because it's OON, right? It's when you take the word...
Yes, please.
Bassoon.
Yes, please.
Bassoon minus bass. You're left with un. That's why we're called un.
So curious.
Bassoon minus bass.
A good idea. This project with... It's two hand. Yeah. How did it happen?
Well, in 2013, I was in Brazil touring with a band by the name of Generation Esmeralda. It's Jimmy Going's project, and it's a wonderful band with a big horn section out of California, and I was their bass player. And so I met Tomás and Sergio and Vijaz, the whole crew, and we made friends and just got to know each other, you know. And they have been paying attention to my career, and they have been, you know, noticing a lot of things have been happening for me. I published a book. I've been, you know, very visible as a player and performer and educator. And then when the cover happened, they contacted me and they said they want to feature me. And that was just a wonderful honor and joy. And they asked me to put something together, and Paul couldn't make it. I've been a long admirer of Stu Ham. And I've been very involved in solo bass concerts lately. I've produced 2 shows with my friend Josh Cohen, and we have produced a series of solo bass nights. And so I was just really interested, you know, how can you bring solo bass to Brazil? Mm-hmm. And Stuart came to mind because he's just fantastic. I've been a fan of his for a very long time.
Amazing idea.
And I asked him, do you happen to have time? And I got lucky. You heard what an amazing schedule he has. He's a busy guy.
It's incredible.
Yes. Yeah, it's very inspiring to play with him. All this tapping stuff.
My idol.
He started,
Endorsing your companies.
I work together with a lot of companies. Yeah, the longest I've been with are these bass builders. This is a German company. Marlo. We say Marlo. He's from Germany. It's a French name.
French name.
He's from Germany. Yeah.
Ah,
Gerald Marlo.
Oh.
Yeah. I've known Gerald for a long time. He's a very dear friend, and he builds incredible basses. So they play very easily. The neck is so comfortable. You know, it's very easy to play and develop good technique.
It's very important.
When I teach, I'm all about playing relaxed, because if you overgrip and have a lot of tension, you can hear it in the sound, you know. And these basses make it really easy to play ergonomically, to not make extra movement, you know. They're so balanced, you know, the way they're hanging. So I love these basses. And a couple of other companies that I endorse is Backbeat. It's a new item. It's wonderful. Oh, if you can't hear yourself, you can put it. Yes, you clip it on your belt, and you can feel it.
It's a good product.
It's an excellent product. It's really helpful for. I love it.
You do feel the bass.
You feel the bass.
Really?
Yes. Oh yeah, you can. It's almost like you're hearing yourself, because it's bone conduction. You know. And so you get the feedback for your playing, even if it's a loud situation. But you can use it for practicing. You can put an aux signal in. You know, you can. It's just wonderful on the road. It's really small, and you know, I use it for practicing and all sorts of things. So that's a great product. I also endorse Singular Sound. They make the beat body and little gadgets, you know, for gadgets, I shouldn't say gadgets, but tools for musicians, for touring musicians. They're very helpful, like cables, rolling up cables. I love the Dean Markley strings. I use SR2000. They're tapered in the end here, and that's a very
clarity of sound is amazing.
And I love the feel of them, you know. It's just, I'm so used to them. I've been playing them forever. And let's see, Tsunami Cables is a cable company in LA that I love.
It's a new company.
Yes, fairly, I believe, fairly. I mean, I love TC pedals. I love superlative loopers. I have Pictronics.
Bass amps?
I'm right now in transition a little bit. I have a Ref Sound Cap. That's a relatively new company and a small company out of the East Coast. But they make very light caps, and you know that's nice, because it's a lot of gear schlepping, you know. Caps. So
we need
that's
this.
Nice. Yes, my back.
Oh, I'm an old guy.
So, and Groove Gear, you know, I love my Groove Gear cases.
Groove Gear?
Yes, Groove Gear.
I'm too. Groove Gear. Do you use Groove Gear and the taping technique?
Yes. I like it for my. I always have one on my 6-string because it helps so much. Yeah. And Kala U basses I endorse too. You know Kala, the little basses. So much fun. You just have to pick them up and play them. It's so much fun with the rubber strings. You know, they sound like an upright.
Many companies. Many.
I like to collaborate, and they're all very, very good to me. And I only endorse what I really like. You know, I would not. I've been offered a lot of string companies and other things, and I always say no, because loyalty is very important to me.
But your work is amazing. Your work is very important for community of the basses around the world.
Well, in 2015 I published my book, and that became a huge success, because I think one of the reasons is because I want to teach people, you know, with what they already know. And a bass player who has played a couple of songs already knows, you know, pentatonics and things like that. But when you want to teach, when a bass player wants to say, I want to understand what's happening in a song. I don't want to just read the tab. It's not furthering me. Everybody, or many, gets to a point where they can't bring themselves in anymore, because they don't really understand how music is put together. And then typically what people do is they give them a book with classical music theory, right? But that's like the biggest off-turner, because then you have to like forget everything you know, take this book and just read this first, you know? And I don't agree with that for the bass, because we are so visual. We have shapes and patterns, and I can teach you the most important foundations of music theory without teaching you to read first, you know? So you can just go, this shape, that you've played before. That's a try it. And this is a good way to finger it, Now, I also think that when you combine good fingering with learning theory, that's a shortcut. Because when I teach you the different types of triads and chords, you might as well use good fingering as you add it. And then I always also like to talk about good technique. Because if we talk about good fingering, we might as well talk about good technique as well. So I have created this package of, music theory, putting it on the fretboard. Reading is very important. Reading is extremely important. But if you learn the music theory with shapes first, then it's much easier to learn to read. So I'm working on several books right now, and the next book will be on reading and will be on the fretboard harmony and so forth. But I like to start with theory. And you can always improvise, That's how you remember stuff. Because a lot of these books, it's a disconnect. How does this help me be a better bass player, And that's what my goal is. I want to teach theory so you can go into your band and go, hey, look, this is a minor pentatonic. You can play a fill using this, So you groove and then you play a fill, And that is something they can use right away by teaching them a shape and the context how to use it in.
Your students develop evolution.
Well,
you feel this.
I have tested it with lots and lots of students over the years. We have in the same room, and I've taught online and in person many, many students. And I always tested it, And it seems that people love this because it is empowering, because it starts with what you already know, Lots of people play songs. They just don't really know what they're doing sometimes, at a certain stage. And that's where I think this approach can be really helpful. Yeah. Because it's empowering, they can do something with it right away, and they can find their own voice within it, Yeah.
And understand harmony.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And use
Help
it.
So much to
if you
play.
Use it. Yeah. Victor Wooten says when you learn a new language, when you learn a new word, you want to use it in a sentence.
Yeah.
And that's how I understand
I see this.
You show, okay, this is a minor pentatonic, and this is the context, that's the language, right? The pentatonic is the grammar, if you will. But let's use it in a sentence. Let's play a fill, Let's put a rhythm and a background track on, and then you can use it in a musical sentence,
How do you manage your projects when you are generating so much content at the same time?
Yeah, it is really a matter of being very disciplined. And sometimes it's easier than other times, but I really try to divide my time, for, first of all, my own health, like exercising and working out and sleep is very important. That's number one, really.
Sleep well is very important.
But then I have a block of time where I do content creation. Then I have a block of time where I do my own practice, and then I teach a lot and I perform a lot. So it's very hard to, get it all going. But I've sort of learned to take, when I have a little time at the airport or in a flight or something, I'll sit and write, Or I will make shooting days where I just shoot a bunch of videos and concepts that we work out, And then I shoot all of those in one day, and but we have a lot of books coming. We have a lot of new courses coming. I really had to say no to a lot of things, which is always hard, But my December is gonna be mostly writing because I'm behind on my writing schedule, and I
have vacations.
No vacations. My dream vacation is a writing retreat. I go take my bass, my computer, and I just write. I practice and I write. I practice and I write. I love that all day long. No internet. It's great.
Ari, thank you so much.
Oh, it's such a pleasure to be here. It's wonderful.
It's a great pleasure for me.
Thank you, Alexandre.
Your social media, Facebook, Instagram for the internauts.
Yeah, I have my own blog. It's arispacblog.com. I blog every week almost. And
Ari's Bass Blog.
Yes, arispacblog.com. ARIS blog, BLOG. Ari's
Amazing
Bass
to
blog.
see. Amazing.
I forgot the word bass. ARIS bassblog.com. And I'm also on No Treble. I have a series there
No
that's
Treble,
called Talking
yeah,
Technique.
yeah.
And I teach for Scott's
Great
bass
website.
lessons. Scott's bass lessons I teach. I have a seminar every other month. And I love those guys. They're wonderful. I also work with TrueFire. We're about to release some new courses with them. And yeah, my blog. And we have our own courses and books. And if people would like to connect, arispacblog.com is a good place. I'm also on Instagram with arispacblog, Facebook, and LinkedIn, and YouTube.
The super Ari.
I have help with these things.
Ari, thank you.
Oh, you're so
I hope
welcome.
you enjoy.
I have. Brazil
like it.
is a wonderful hospitality for musicians. So very, very, very welcoming to musicians and incredibly good food. We went for barbecue today. I was like,
Today?
yeah, in the afternoon. It was so good.
I eat this every day.
I am vegetarian, but I was like so much food. It was so good.
Yeah. I'm not.
Yeah, well, it's in this country. The smells. I can understand.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ariane Cap here in Fala Baixista. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ari.
Thank you very much for having us, Alexandre.
Yeah.
It's an honor.
It's a great. Nice to meet you.
Likewise. Cheers.
Sorry.